I'm going to cover the scene to scene in the next section because they kind of go together. Selling. You can have this all in the world, you can bring it all to your clients, but unless you're making this out of it, it's really no good. Having the lights sit and not doing anything is not helping you, it's not helping your customers, and gentlemen, your wives will be very angry if you keep buying toys without anything to do with them. So you want to make sure that you are able to sell them. And that's the thing I love about moving heads. I can show my clients, I can bring one right there on the spot with my little controller. And this one here, actually, I don't even need my computer. I have pre-programmed scenes so I can flip around and show them different things. So the way that I sell the effect, aside from photos and 3D diagrams and all that, I just paint a picture to them and I tell them how we paint 5 different crucial scenes. First is your entry. What is your room going to look like when you come in? Do you want all the lights on like this? That's kind of plain and boring. How about we create some beautiful patterns on the wall? Maybe have your name projected on the floor. Maybe we don't have your name projected on the floor. So let's not do your name. Let's just have patterns all the way around. No floods, just nice, elegant. Then all of a sudden you come in, the lights dim down, you see a big bright spotlight appear there. And you have the pattern slowly whisk over that way. That brings everybody's attention, because think about it, if you have the patterns on the wall and you see the patterns move, you're going to follow those patterns naturally. So it goes over to the dance floor, your entrance where you come in. Then you do your first dance, and now you have a nice, elegant first dance area in there. Then into dinner. I don't know about how it works in your area, but in my area, everybody's blind, and you could have it like this, and you'll still have the venue manager. Yeah, hi, it's really dark in here. Our guys are moles and can't see. So, of course, we got to crank the lights up. So I tell them, so what we can do is we can light up the buffet table with, putting our moving heads at the buffet table. Once everybody sits, then we can go right back to the very first one, maybe add a little bit of floods or something in there. Then when it's time to dance, all the lights go towards the center of the dance floor. We don't need them on the walls anymore. We want them on the center of the dance floor to create that energy, that vibe, and it doesn't have to look nightclubish, but we can if you want it to. I don't know, have you guys ever had a bride that tells you, oh, I don't want it to look like a nightclub, and that winds up being the wildest wedding ever. Uncle's wearing a lampshade on his head, they're all singing Sweet Caroline, but nobody really knows the words, and they're like, hey, Caroline. Yeah, that's what happens quite a bit. And then I don't have to worry about, I don't have these programs for it. I have the programs. I can turn it into a nightclub feel right then and there if that's what she wants. And the most important scene, the end. What is the big finale? Now, as MCs, we always talk about how we can use our talents and our voices and our music to make the night end in a hoorah, where everybody's like, oots, oots, oots. But what about lighting? What is your lighting doing for your grand exit? What are you doing to make the bride and groom create something exciting, something really fun? We just got 2 moving heads. And what we're going to do with these 2 moving heads, we're just doing gobos, 5 to 1, just numbers. And I always do a countdown at all my events. So for when I don't have the video screens or the matrix panels, we'll have 2 moving heads that go right on each side of the wall, and they're going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just a thing that I do. But we have some people where they have moving heads all of a sudden just flashing, moving around, and then bam, they land on the bride and groom. Because you tell the bride and groom ahead of time, look, there's a little X, that's where you're going to be when they're the last part of your song. So imagine everything's flashing around, everybody's dancing, all of a sudden, lights go off, spotlight center of the floor, that's the bride and groom. Mr. and Mrs. Everybody cheers. You created I thought I almost dropped something there. You created something exciting without really having to work too much on programming, because with palettes, and I'll discuss that later, you just move your mouse a couple different times and that exact same scene can be used for different rooms each individual time. So that's how I sell it. And of course, I have video clips. I have things to show the bride, and if the bride's still not convinced, I load up my 3D software. I'm like, here's your room, here's what it's going to look like. Can you do this? Yes, I can, and I show them how. So essentially, that's it, moving heads. It's the big part of our business. It's something we do more and more every single day. If you guys have any questions, anything so far you'd like to talk about? Yes?
Saw on the screen, saw some trussing across the front and 4 totems around the edge of the dance floor. Have you got a favorite for weddings? What do you like, 2 heads, 4 heads?
Everybody's a little bit different. I don't go by number of fixtures, and I never sell, well, you get 4 moving heads with this. The bride doesn't care, because I could take 2 moving heads and make it look like 4 with a prism. I sell it by the effect. With that particular wedding, I know which one you're talking about. Here we go. That one right there? This one here, we had no trussing over the dance floor. Or no trussing by the DJ or anything like that. It was just the 4 movers. We did have a gobo projector, because the particular gobo that she wanted last minute, I only had it in that size. But we had the 4 moving lights, we had the floods and everything in there, because they wanted something elegant, but they didn't want it to look elegant. Does that make sense? They wanted the actual look to be elegant, but they wanted, when everybody walked in, just a huge impact. It was a very small wedding. We're talking maybe 60, 70 people. So they wanted that nice big impact. Plus, this ballroom holds 300 people. Using the moving heads, you know, where we put the patterns and using the trussing, it made the floor look smaller because they took such a large area out of that room. Anything else? Yes?
How do you prevent them from that drunk guy that bumps them and having
Those are, it's kind of hard to see, but those are 3x3 bases. We've also drilled the top plates here. Like, obviously, if I bump into these, that's a whole different story, only because right here. So I just drilled the hole here, and the little Omega mount, that clamp that goes underneath, we just bolted it in there, and we're good to go. And of course, safety cables and everything else. Guys, please never forget your safety cables. I can tell you fun stories about times that I have forgotten safety cables, so don't do that. But I mean, and that's it, the 3x3 base, even if somebody bumps into it, it would move forward and then it would go right back. I mean, that's a heavy base. And if you are really worried about it, get a steel, not an aluminum, or just add sandbags to it. And then what we do when we've done sandbags at weddings, because that can be a trip hazard, we get like the really nice pretty tool and we just kind of wrap it around there. But I've never had to do the sandbags except for once or twice outdoors. The 3x3 plates are plenty heavy. What else? I saw somebody's hand up. Yes, way back there.
What DMX program are you using?
Currently I use CompuShow. And I use the SDE, and if you're curious about it, I'll be doing a live learning seminar on that too. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, I will talk your ear off about DMX programming.
Where is the seminar going to be?
Seminar is going to be at the exhibit hall, the ADJ exhibit hall. Actually, if you just go on Instagram or Facebook, just search live learning, you'll see tons of posts about it. But come see me and I'll show you where it's at. Yes?
Many of the weddings that I do are in resorts with low ceilings, smaller rooms, 70 to 150 people max. How would moving heads work in a smaller room rather than a ballroom?
This is where your DMX programming is important more than ever.
Question, please. Can you repeat?
He was asking, what do you do with low ceilings, smaller crowds? You know, this is kind of a fairly large room with high ceilings. What do you do when you're in a small area? What I do is I use what we call pan and tilt limiting. For example, if I had the moving heads over my area, and I don't know if you guys have seen this before, the moving heads will move here, it'll hit here, it'll hit here, it'll hit behind me, it'll hit on the floor. I don't want it to hit that area, so I can tell my DMX program, don't go past here, don't go past here. And then the same thing for like weddings with the low ceilings. You know, for example, the one right here, which is my absolute favorite, the Pro, that guy has an 80-watt LED, which is insanely bright. And I mean that in a good way, but it may be too big for a smaller country club. Well, with the DMX software, I can tell it, don't go any brighter than this the entire time, no matter what program I choose. So it's one of the nice things about the live controls of the one that I use, that you do have those features on there. So usually for something like that, I may not use a totem. I may just do them on a regular truss stand. If I want it to look elegant, I may do a totem, but I'll do the bar across like the boom arm and then just hang it upside down, so that way I get a nicer range on there. Because if it is a small room, you know, you're not going to be able to hit right down below. You'll want to hang it upside down. I use Global Truss. They got a whole bunch of solutions to be able to do that. Whom else? Well then, we'll just stare at me awkwardly. Do you guys want to see a couple of these lights head to head or whatnot? We can do that real quick if you'd like, because we have like 8 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. So you know what? Here's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and, do you guys want me to show you the actual DMX program while I do that, so you guys can see what I'm doing? So that's basically these are switches. Now I loaded these programs in last night and I worked on these. I only did a couple like the ones you see here. So basically all the buttons that you're about to see me do automatically come with the software, or not the software when you load the light in. So for example, we'll start, let's go ahead and black everything out. All right, I'm gonna leave that one on for just a second. Let me clear that one out. So we'll start, for example, the little guy right there. Well, actually, I'll do my favorite one because I'm biased and I got a few minutes in here. So again, with the pan and tilt limiting, I'm going to actually kind of answer your question live while we're talking about it. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on here. There we go. So again, you can see how it's kind of hitting all over the area. Maybe I don't want it to hit behind there, so I can literally just go here, and I'm just going to go to my settings and my patch. And again, just like as you research moving heads, you want to make sure you read your DMX software. And basically, I'm literally just going to tell it to only hit a certain corner. Right, this is crazy. Ready? So we're going to go here. I don't want it to go that wide. That's a little bit too much. Especially if you're short like I am, the lights just want to keep hitting you in the eyes the whole time. Short DJ problems. There's your new hashtag. Okay, so we have that, and let's see how high it goes. That's pretty good. So I'm just gonna click OK. Now all the programs that I've made are automatically resized so it only hits that area. So that's essentially how you can go ahead and work in a country club or an area with low ceilings. If you're worried about it being too bright, maybe you need to dim it down a little bit, not a problem. I'm just gonna take the master dimmer down. It's a lot less brighter, and I don't have to worry about hitting people. Gives me a nice, more subdued effect. One of the cool things about this one, let's go back over here. Again, you have your gobo rotation and everything else, but the motorized focus is pretty easy to do. So I just click on the focus and I can just move it. And it's pretty sharp, no ghosting. This is actually something I should have talked about. Ghosting is when you have a gobo and you see the blurred lines around it. That's due to poor optics. And I've thrown many projectors out the door because I could not get rid of the ghosting. This particular one has not given me ghosting. It gives me nice clear lines. I mean, even in the prism, you can actually see the bold lines in between. So let's say, for example, we do the really cool effect. That's actually one of my favorites there. This has gobo indexing. Do you guys remember the old school scanners? How you had all your colors and then you could choose colors halfway in between? The indexing on this allows me to say, well, I only want it to be 10% yellow, 90% orange, or whatever, you know, two colors as long as they're side by side. And again, you swap out your gobo for some fire, or you know, the flame ones, or a flame breakup gobo. You switch it around with the, or you make it start rotating, you blur it a little bit, now you have fire. But you make it blue, and now you have a water effect. All with the same light, with just 2 clicks of the button. So again, there are some really cool, neat things that you can do. But again, that's what's the important part, is you want to be able to focus on getting the right gobo, or getting the right fixture that will support those gobos. Anything else? Any questions?
What's the price of that?
I have no idea. That you want to talk to your dealer. Obviously, if you're at the show, you can save a lot of money, and well, you know, I'll kind of help you pack it in your case. We'll just kind of like shove it all in there. No, but in all seriousness, if you go up to the ADJ one, if you're interested in what they have to offer, talk to them, plan a DJ, they'll take good care of you. They got some awesome specials. I will tell you right now that that middle one right there, the Pro, is my personal favorite, and you will not believe the price that it's at. It's incredibly cheap. I'm telling you, just go there. And then the little one here is the little spot. It's incredibly affordable. Honestly, the little one right there with a price that anybody right now can leave with 2 moving heads and have a moving head show. I promise you that. The Pro, you can leave with that right now with a good DMX software. And if you get the DMX software, I'll be more than happy to help you out with the programming and all that. Just find me online, and I'll help you with some of the programming and all the basics of that. But I mean, there's some great stuff that you can do with it. All right, so I got to close up. Any more questions? Yes?
How are you selling these things to your bride? How are you sit down in your consultation, your presentation, whatever, how are you besides showing them that computer? They have no idea what a moving head is.
I know, that's why I take, well, see, I personally take photos at all my events, or I do the 3D diagrams. And now, you know, it used to be that the 3D software was, there's some 3D software, they're like, you know, there's Capture. It looks about this, it actually looks just as real as it would in person. So a lot of times I show that to the bride, or I bring them into the office, or if, you know, if you guys don't have an office, find somewhere where, you know, you can quickly program it. Like I said, I have this here, and I have some pre-made scenes on the SD card, and I can show them, well, what do you like? Well, I like pink. Okay, cool, let me show you what that looks like. And I go through some basic scenes. But the most important thing to start out with, I'm sorry, I'm blinding you guys. The most important thing to start out with is just asking, what do you want? What would you like your room to look like? Remember that just because the bride says, oh, I'm not interested in this or this, it's because she's seen it done wrong. Show her how it's done right. Show her what you can do. Actually, almost every single one of the brides that we sold this to, or our school clients, didn't want it because they didn't know that they wanted it. So that's what we show them through pictures, or even something as simple as go to a hotel. If you have a good relationship with a hotel, get some photos and just show them that. It's, you know, to start, but take a camera with you to events. You know, my goodness, even an iPhone or an Android will take a good photo at the very minimum, and just start taking photos and showcase your work. Anything else, guys? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. Again, any questions? Come find me at the ADJ booth. God bless.